Hey fellow Fiverr sellers, it's Ron again, and in today's video I want to talk about the FAQ section on Fiverr. Now this is something that Fiverr just implemented probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, so it's not brand new, but to be honest, when I first saw it I was going to jump right on it, and I just never had a chance to really give it some thought because I personally believe that I wanted to do it right and give it thought before I jumped right into it. So anyway, so I've given it some thought and I wanted to share some of my best practices and secrets with you so that you can do the same thing. So FAQs basically are a great way to explain more detail about your gig. It also gives you a way, which I think is the most powerful, a way to upsell your services. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So anyway, real quickly, FAQ section, I'll show you what that is, but think about all of the frequently asked questions, all the questions that you get from Fiverr sellers. From Fiverr buyers. And if you're new, if you're a new Fiverr seller, what kind of questions do you think that they're going to ask you? So you know your services, what kind of questions do you think you're going to get? So I would say, number one, it's a great way to upsell. Number two, it's a great way to answer questions so you don't have to field a ton of questions in your email box. Because I get so many emails about, do you have an Australian accent? And can you do a spokesperson video in a British accent? And I say the answer is no, because if I do it, it'll be a combination of American, Southern, Scottish, Australian, and British, and it would be awful. So I just say, no, I don't do it. So anyway, let me jump over to the browser here. And so anyway, you log into your Fiverr account as you always do, and you go over to selling, and then you go over to my gigs. So just like you're going to edit your gig, this is how you do it. So you go in here and you click this arrow, and then you click on edit. Now, if you notice, some of you may have already noticed this, and I will say this real quickly. Now on your screen, you may see something a little different. For instance, the gig metadata stuff and the categories, that's going to depend on what your service is. Since I'm a spokesperson, you can see it's gender, age range, language, accent, etc. So if you're a logo designer, you're probably going to see something completely different. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's go over to the description and FAQ. So briefly describe your gig. We're not going to get into that now. Let's jump down to the frequently asked questions. So add questions and answers for your buyer. So what I want to do first is I want to put in questions that I think are going to upsell. That's the first thing I want to do. So, and these right now are probably not in the best order, but I noticed that a full commercial for me is my biggest profit margin to go. It's the biggest sale I can make. So a spokesperson video is kind of me standing in the middle of a white screen and talking for anywhere from a minute to 10 minutes about a specific topic. A full commercial is, imagine a commercial you see on TV where I'm on camera every so often, but more or less it's stock footage and images and words that come on the screen, and it's much more dynamic. And so what I do is I created, and I'll show you how to do this in a second. It says add FAQ right up here. What is your full commercial? Because I get that question a lot, and in my gigs I say, ask me about the full commercial, because I don't have enough. In the gig description, it doesn't allow me to really explain it. It only gives you 1,000 words, 1,500 words, and I just don't have enough room. So here it says, what is your full commercial? So I say, click the link. Oh, looks like that erased. It should be, I actually changed it to say something like the following. Now the other thing is you only have 300 characters, so you got to watch that. So let me just do this. A full commercial can wow your customers and increase conversions. And I have proof to back that up. Not that I've done it, but there's a lot of empirical evidence online that backs that up. So, and here's an example. Here's an example. So as you can see, what I did is, now that's weird. It's not allowing me to put a colon. Maybe that's on purpose. I don't know. But anyway, Anyway, so a full commercial can wow your customers and increase conversions. Right there, what I try to do is sell the client on the full commercial, because again, I sell it for $1 per word. So if someone gives me a 150 word script, typically that would be, if it's just me in front of a camera, that typically would be 15 bucks, I think, something like that. But if they order the full commercial, it's 150. Of course, it's more work on my end, but it's a lot more money too. So it's a huge profit margin for me. So anyway, a full commercial can wow your customers and increase conversions. Here's an example. And then you give a little bit of an information. The cost of the video is $1 per word of your script, which also includes me finding the stock video images, music, etc. The only thing you do is provide the script. The idea is that the customer says, here you go, here's the script, work your movie magic. And I probably would include that if I had more room. I wish it went up to 500 characters, because I probably would say the best part of this gig is that the best part of the full commercial is you hand it over and I do all the work using my creative talents. So anyway, so I'm going to hit the update button on that. Now it should be stuck. Wow, full commercial. Yeah. So the other thing is, do you do a British or Australian accent? In the end, let me try one. Let's see, British. Let me think. No, I actually don't have a British accent. This is really awful. I don't even know what kind of accent that is. Australian. Hey, mate. I can't do it. See, that's what I mean. I'm awful at it. So anyway, the answer is no. I don't do an Australian accent. I do get this one. You have a lot of orders in your queue. Can you still deliver on time? So I answer that question. Do you offer revisions? And the answer is no. I say I only offer revisions if I make a mistake in my recording. However, I do offer small revisions, such as swapping out logos, adding a different background, etc. Let's see. Do you offer big order discounts? And the answer is typically no, unless it's 500, 1,000, or over $3,000. I want images in my video. Do you provide them, or do I? And so these are some of the ones. Now, one of the things I'm also going to do is I think about to myself, where do I make the most profit? The commercial is number one, but what else is there? And so what I was thinking about doing is putting a new one that says something like, should I include images? I'm not going to do this now to bore you, but should I include images? With a question mark. So what I'm doing is I'm prompting the customer to look at these frequently asked questions and say, oh, should I include images? The answer is yes, I think you should. Having a spokesperson on screen for a minute, 2 minutes or more without any images or changing or anything like that is extremely boring. So adding images like stock photos and stock videos really increases your conversions. So, or it really increases my profitability, but it also increases the customer's engagement and conversions online as well. It's more interesting for the viewer to watch. So for instance, like I'm putting this video down in the corner because I think you guys would probably find it more interesting because I'm talking to you as well as this versus just a screencast with no moving except for the mouse. So anyway, so think about my next step for all of you is to think about two things. One, what is a frequently asked question that you could put out there that will help sell or upsell your extras? So for instance, in a logo, if you're a logo designer, maybe it's you'll also design business cards or something like that. Maybe the first question is, will my logo fit on a business card or something along those lines? Or do you also do business cards? And you put, yes, I enjoy doing logos, and part of my package is if you upgrade to whatever, I'll happily do the business cards for you, whatever it might be. So bad example because I don't do graphic design. So think about what are your gig extra upsells and how can you phrase a frequently asked question to upsell the customer? And then think of, the other thing is just think of other questions. I would put the sales questions first. Like for instance, my first one is going to be the full commercial. The next one is, should I use images? You know, that type of thing. And the answer is going to be, of course, yes, because it helps in my upsells, but I also think it helps the customer's video. And then you go into like the boring ones, like, do you offer big discounts? Do you offer revisions? Do you do a British accent? Or any of those frequently asked questions that you get for your specific video. I'm sorry, for your specific gig. And then lastly, the last part is search engine optimization. Now, I can't confirm this, but it can't hurt. So for instance, you may want to trickle keywords throughout your frequently asked questions. I mean, put it this way, it can't hurt, it can only help. So for instance, maybe in my full commercial, maybe I should a full commercial video with me as your spokesperson, because those are some key words that I use that help find me. Do you British accent? Unfortunately not. That actually is a really bad example. I probably should put thank you for your question. Unfortunately, as a spokesperson or as a video spokesperson, I can only do an American accent. So try to think about ways that you can embed keywords into your frequently asked questions. And again, I don't know if the search engine, Fiverr search engine, looks at the FAQs, but having them in there can't hurt just in case it does. So number one, just a recap, think about your upsells and how you can use the FAQs to upsell and grow your Fiverr business to make more money. Two, you want to think about ways that just the standard questions that you get. And finally, number three, embed keywords into your frequently asked questions. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you found this exciting and helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.